let me just say a couple things, because when Ken called and asked about our helping out, for years we have been, as Steve knows, as our council, have been talking both in front of and behind the scenes at the county with staff as well as supervisors about the issue of making the rural areas viable and thereby preserving the rural areas. And the discussion was really along the lines of, you know, if you plant a vineyard, which was our interest, and the vines last 40, 50, 60 years, given the capital cost of doing that, it's highly unlikely that you're going to plow it under and then put a development in. Yeah. And that's not something that you can control with zoning. It's something that just makes some common sense. And the more economically viable the rural areas can be, the less likely it is that the heirs will divide it up and try and develop it. And the most receptive ear that we had on the Board of Supervisors for years and years was Ken, the guy who got it the earliest and who helped us with the staff, and the result of a lot of what he did, particularly behind the scenes, I think was evident in what happened recently in the amendments to help the wineries in the rural area. It's that kind of attention, both to the immediate issues and to the long-term effort that's necessary in order to get the change done, that we think is important to have in Washington, D.C. as well. Because when you think about it, and just look at it from my little myopic view of the wine industry, in 1979, we had 6 wineries in the state. In 1989, there were about 84. And in 2009, there were almost 200. Okay? Then ask yourself, what did the Congress of the United States allocate in special rural agricultural grants to the state of Virginia, as Annette now knows, versus the other states, particularly California, Oregon, Washington, and New York, for support of that industry, with a Virginia congressman who was chairman of the House Agricultural Committee. All right? So what we think is that somebody of Ken's intellect and stature and his capabilities in Washington, D.C. will make a big difference. And when he asked if we would help, we said gladly. So getting off a plane and coming here to let you know that this is the kind of man that we really do need in Washington, D.C. is a small price to pay to get him on. Thank you.
Thanks to Bill and Patricia for having me down here for this wonderful event. And I think there's probably some more wine in there if you all want to break up and enjoy some more.
Very good wine, by the way.
And this election is winnable. I mean, there are 7 candidates in this race. What, 2 weeks left? 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left? 2 weeks. It can be won right here. It can be won right here. Everybody goes out and asks 5 or 10 of your friends to come out and support Ken, ask him to send a few bucks. All of that matters right now. I mean, this is the 4th quarter, and you're tied through the first 3 quarters. So this is the home stretch, and Ken is in a great position to win this race. And it can be won right here. Amen. With energy, with focus, and just calling some folks and getting them out to get involved in the campaign down the stretch. It can be done right here. And every one of us can do something to help that. Just pick up the phone and call your friend and ask them to come out and vote on June 8th. And if they got to know Ken, it'd be wonderful. But you can tell them what he stands for. You just heard it. He listens to his constituents. He's principled, believes in less government, fewer regulations. He's a common sense kind of leader. He looks for solutions. All of those things are what people are looking for in Washington today. And it can be won right here. Oh, exactly right. All right. Exactly. Well done. Yeah.